Hello, everyone. Welcome to the APHL Rhapsody user group call for October. We're right at the top of the hour. We're going to give everybody just another couple of minutes to join, and then we will get started. So fast. Hey. Ready. Thanks for your patience while we wait for everybody to join our call. As a reminder, we are recording today's call. I will make the recording available after this. We have a lot to cover today, so let's go ahead and dive in. So we'll start off. We've actually got some questions for the group that came up. We'd love to get your thoughts on a couple of things. We're going to basically just reach out to the community and see who can help us. Then we're going to open it up for a jurisdiction round robin. We'd love to hear what you guys are working on, any major achievements over the last few weeks, or challenges that you'd like some help with, or things that maybe you'd like to see addressed on a future call. So we'll do that. And then we'll look at some next up, what we have planned for the next couple of user group calls. And then we will get into the weeds. We've got folks from Wisconsin and from Virginia joining us today to talk about really different approaches to data exchange for vital records using Rhapsody. And in fact, both using Fire in very different stages of that implementation. So we'll talk with Tom Dwyer and with Sarah Gouda about their experiences, and then we'll have some open discussion. All right, so question for the group. Back early on in 2025, when we started our user group, we put out an informal survey to folks, and we got about 2 dozen or so responses. And one of the questions we asked was, what version of Rhapsody do you use? And it was kind of all over the place. But we do have a kind of a follow-up question on that. We'd love to know what version you're using, and in particular, if you're using a version that is 6.3 or lower. We're kind of trying to verify what versions APHL Technical Assistance needs to be able to support. A lot of you know that, for our data integration architects, we try to make all of our tools compatible for as many versions of Rhapsody as possible. So, but we want to see if basically if we need how far back we need to go in order to make that compatibility effective. So if you could drop your version that you're using in the chat or reach out to me directly if you are using what you consider to be a pretty old version of Rhapsody and you'd really like to make sure that TA is still able to work with you, that would be helpful. Basically, we're debating about whether or not to continue licenses for 6.0. So, if you can let us know how far back your instance goes, that would be really helpful. All right. And that's just going to be an open request for the meeting. Appreciate your help on that. All right. Whoops. Okay. So another question we had, this one is about APHL's R tool. This is a tool that's available through the ELRTA program. I know that several jurisdictions have uh, uh, are in the process of implementing a copy of it or are using it in different ways. Basically, it delivers a delta between what's reportable and what's in an SQL table. We're really curious to know if anybody is developing automated solutions to manage reportable conditions that might be relying on APHL's R tool. And I know we've got Jyoti from the TA team on here. I don't know if Jyoti, if you want to give more background on the R tool or clarify the question that we're asking.
Sure. This is for as you mentioned now, it's reportable conditions. Our tool is a tool that integrates with RCKMS data, I think, to identify the reportable, any new LOINC or SNOMED codes for the disease conditions, and send out the list of LOINC SNOMED combinations and the reportable conditions associated with those to the jurisdictions.
So I think we're looking for anybody who's willing to share what they are doing with that R tool, and if they're looking to automate that process at all for um, looking up and modifying the links NOMED
I think
codes.
Cody put the link to the tool that's from the APHL.
Well, thank you, Cody.
Thanks, Cody.
Um, um, this is Cody. I mean, I'm working with Jyoti on being able to do just that, automating the reportable condition process between a SQL table and Rhapsody. Um, but it's a work in progress, and we've encountered some rate limiting steps with the version of Rhapsody we have and how it connects to SQL. But overall, I've I think I've been working with Emily and Geothy for a while now to get this up and running and aligned with our internal condition mapping logic.
All right, thanks for that added context, Cody.
Mhm.
Are others working on similar solutions? Would you like that
Um,
kind of a solution?
I'm sorry, what?
I was asking the group if others would like something, if that sounds like something that they might be able to leverage as well.
There's a question from David. Is it related to TES service for condition codes? TES service, I'm not sure. I need to.
The terminology exchange service on AIM. So I think, David, I don't know if there's anybody on that can answer that really declaratively, but I mean, the R tool is something that's locally deployed. So I don't think that it doesn't have any kind of dynamic relationship with TES. Does that help?
I know we use TES for the ECR uh, condition codes, but I'm not sure if it carries over to ELR.
I don't think that it does based on what I have looked at. So, um, Oregon actually looked at using the TES tool and whatnot as we were integrating information into SQL. And it looks like TES is essentially the same um, content as what has been developed with the R tool, um, but it wouldn't add the component of, if you have an internal um, set of condition mapping logic for each condition, it doesn't account for that. So you still have to tie in that information
Got it.
somehow. So that's kind of where the disconnect is between those two things.
Got it. Thank you, Cody. Any other thoughts on this before we move forward? All right, Cody, it sounds like you might be the trailblazer on this.
Will it be beneficial maybe for everybody else to see like if they want to have a demo of our tool or something like during our
Mhm.
calls, like to have an idea of what's going on in
Now,
the process?
I know that Emily has definitely talked about it on some CSDE calls, so I don't know how many folks that are on this
Okay.
call have heard about the R tool or would be interested. But if you could, if that would actually be great. If you could let us know if you'd be interested in learning more about the R tool, we could set that up. So if folks are interested, speak out.
It might be nice to have a refresher mill.
Hmm.
I'm just going to speak for the room. Um, well, I use it. I was definitely grateful when it came out, and it is an excellent tool.
Hmm.
The part where I essentially submitted a ticket either before or after this tool came out, but um, it has like every mapping possible, which is almost too much for many people. So like I'm working with Geothy to scope it down, but I think other people might benefit from knowing how it works
Okay.
and just being able to see. I mean, it's a pretty uh awesome, quick and simple tool that, creates a bunch of mapping, and I've provided it to onboarding, like as I'm onboarding partners and they ask me about Lincoln SNOMED terminology, I just direct them to use that document that is generated out of it and say, like, this is kind of the standard best practice. And you can, sort and
Mm.
filter as you please. So.
Okay. That sounds good. Cody, maybe let's talk offline. Jyoti, we can reach out to Emily,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we've got a couple of topics slated. So this would be something maybe we do either in December or even early in 2026. Um, and maybe Cody, you can give us an update on how the automation work is going in Oregon. So that would be like, kind of the next stage of the R tool development. That would be exciting to hear.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So I'm going to open it up. Those were my questions. Thank you for your patience there. Are there others that would like to share again, either, what you're working on, exciting things that you learned about Rhapsody this month, or challenges that you'd like to get the group's input on, templates, tools, mappers, etc., that you'd like to solicit for? This is an open call.
Hey, this is Rob in Oregon. I have a question. that I just started working on this morning. I'm trying to delete PR1 segments from an HL7 message, and I'm searching for like the JavaScript command to do that, and I can't seem to find it. So I'm wondering if anyone had any suggestions to delete an entire segment. Without using a message modifier. Caveat.
That's what we got in chat.
I saw that.
I think there is a way to use it, like, multiple ways. Last time when I used, like, we had some E4X one in the latest 7.4 version. I need to go back and check. If you check in the documentation, there should be a delete option or add, or I remember, like, I'll try to find the link to that online documentation and send it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got some ideas for you in chat, Rob. How about using a mapper or HAI parser in JavaScript? Happy, and modifying the schema and updating the mapper.
I was thinking about using a mapper. That was my next step. I wanted to try to solve it in JavaScript first. I guess the reason I can't use a message modifier is that I want to do it based on like comparing dates in the PR1 date versus
Mm.
the PV144 visit date. And there's no operator for greater than or less than in the message modifier that I saw this morning in my half an hour of looking at it.
Rob, can you use the happy parser?
I don't know. I've never used that before.
It's
I think that's what
pretty
is in the
well
documentation.
documented in the Rhapsody
Yeah.
documentation.
Okay, I did see references to that when I was looking in the documentation this morning, but I didn't explore it very deeply. So I will do some reading up on that.
Yeah, given the constraints of you want to do it in JavaScript and you want the conditional logic and so forth,
Hmm.
that is an option.
Okay.
Doesn't modify the message definition, but it will modify the message data.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks all for your input. And thanks, Rob, for asking the question. So if you dig in and you have more questions, please, reach out to this group, and obviously folks have some ideas for you. So
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Whatever I come up with, we'll share as best I can next time.
Yeah. So Rob, if you need a hand on the happy parser, just reach out to me. I've used it several times and can maybe give you an assist.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
No
all right.
problem.
Any other calls for help or questions folks would like to pose? All right. So next up, first Wednesday in November, we are going to be talking about the Loink Fire server and integrating that with Rhapsody. We'll have Regenstrief on to talk about the Fire server, and then we're going to have Rob Byers from Idaho talking about how he's currently interfacing with that Fire server to validate and update Loinks. All right. And if you have other ideas, things you'd like to see on our calendar, please get in touch with me. We are very excited to add um, more topics onto the meetings here. All right. Now we're going to move into our presentations. We've got Tom Dwyer first, a Rhapsody specialist from Wisconsin, and he's going to be talking today about vital records and setting up a data exchange with Steve. So, Tom, I'm going to go ahead and let you share.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, good. Can you see my screen?
We can see your screen, or I
Good.
can.
Okay. So basically, I'm starting developing the interface for Fire with NVSS and Steve and CDC. What you see up on your screen right now is the the HL7 definition for where you start creating Fire messages. They could be in XML format or JSON, and Rhapsody and JSON are buddies, so we are going with JSON version. We like the JSON stuff. So here, and so I'm just starting the development for Fire, so forgive me. I'm just in the midst of developing it, but parts of it are you got to first get an auth code to be able to communicate with the CDC and Steve and NVSS. So this is our auth route we've built to get the auth code that has to go, that creates a token that then allows you to communicate with the CDC and Fire on their systems. So this is the route to create an auth code. And if you look here, you can see it creates. I ran these earlier, so it wouldn't take too much time, but this is the token you need to create to send and receive messages from CDC and all groups together there. So Steve, NVSS, and CDC. This creates the auth code. And then we have another route that we're having tests that is for mapping the Fire message from IJE to Fire. So for all intent and purposes, we have a flat file that has a 5,000 row record that has all information about a said patient given from somewhere in the state. And then that then gets converted into a Fire message like this. And that is what we're doing here. Rhapsody, NVSS has created APIs for server side and client side. Rhapsody doesn't use the client side APIs that they've created. Rhapsody replaces it. They've created a Java API and a C# API on the client side that take an IJE file and convert it to Fire. Like I say, Rhapsody removes you don't need to use the client side, but you could use Rhapsody with their APIs as well. Like I say, I'm just in the middle of development here. So, like I say, this is just our version of testing and the starting parts to get and send messages. They have all sorts of testing tools they've designed for everybody to use to help with testing. So they created a Canary framework testing for vital records, birth reporting records, and field death records. Currently, right now, we send the IJEs directly to Steve for these three entities. Now, in the end, we're going to get this to IJE to convert to Fire, And in these, you can test and run test messages in. It was built by the developers that developed the APIs for the CDC. Unfortunately, right now with the government shutdown, you can't access the support people, but we can still access the test systems. But this here is a nice tool to use that has been developed to, you could create a IJE record and you can put it in and create a fire record, and or take a IJE record from your system and put it in and see how it's supposed to create a fire record. Really, really nice tool to use. Also, they have Death on Fire. That's kind of how it got the name, where people go to get help. Again, the technical people are not available at this time, but here you could still get help and put information out. You just can't get the technical help. So this is the Death on Fire Zula page, where people go out there and put their problems out there, and then it gets routed to the correct vendor that does that part of the fire interface. And then there's also a birth and fetal death on fire Zula page as well for help on those systems. So basically, that's all I have to show. I like I say, we're just in the middle of developing. We haven't started the get route. Like I say, here you can see you could use Postman to get and send messages, and like here's the fire message I created. I can send it here, and I got an error for some reason. Got a auth code failure, which is right because I didn't put in a current fire message, but you could go here and you could get the tokens from here as well. And here you could get your tokens as well using Postman, and then you could post messages, and then from this system here, I don't have a correct access token, but you can get responses from the messages you've sent. So again, that's just my presentation. Like I say, we're in the middle of developing here. I'll hand it on to Sarah, who is much further on in her development of the fire process, and she uses like I say, we use the IJE to create fire messages. She uses a database pull to create the fire messages. Other states use fire to fire to create fire messages, and Rhapsody handles that all. So from here, if everything is okay, I'll pass this on to Sarah.
Thank you, Tom. Hi, my name is Sarah Gowda. Let me share my screen first. Looks like Mel, looks like I do not have permission to share my.
I gave you permission. Hopefully you can do it now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. In Virginia Department of Health, the use case that I'm taking is death on fire. This is just to automate the morbidity data exchange with Fairfax Local Health Department. That is the use case that we took. This project was our first fire project. This was part of our data modernization initiative. We collaborated with ASTO and Fairfax Local Health Department for this project. Before this new process, Fairfax used to receive morbidity data via SFTP. Initially, it was once a month. During COVID, we changed this process to every day. But still, the Fairfax was depending on VDH to push the file. So when the goal for this project was to improve the accuracy, frequency, and reliability of data, and also instead of a push, Fairfax to give access to pull the data as and when they need it. And the benefits that we got out of this solution is close to real-time data. The solution is scalable because currently, even though this solution is only used by Fairfax Local Health Department, we can, with some security configuration, we will be able to allow other local health departments to pull the data. And also this is low maintenance because we are using Rhapsody where we have other solutions. And then even on the vital records, and they have automated this process. So that's the reason why I put it as it's in low maintenance for us. For this solution, we are using Rhapsody to act as a fire server. This is a high level, the infrastructure, how we have set it up. I'm sorry. I'm trying to minimize this. So you can see that Fairfax, we hosted an API in our DMZ, and then we are using a client certification and authentication for this API for Fairfax to pull the data. And in the backend, we are using a database, and then EDRS pushes the data every day at night. So it is very close to the real time. So you can see the API inbound and outbound flow, how Rhapsody is involved in creating the generating the fire bundle. So like I already mentioned, this is the proxy configuration. We are using a request parameters. Initial request, we are looking for a locality code, and then the last updated date. That is the first request that comes in, and then the next they will be, since we are limiting the fire bundle to have max of 10 records in at a time. So they will be they'll be able to send concurrent requests after the initial request to pull the additional result sets. This is the internal route to process the API request. We are just receiving the request. This is where the main, we are validating the request, and then we are verifying if there are any results for the request that we received for that particular locality, depending on the date time frame. And then we also, for every request, we try to audit, put it into a database record as an audit record. That way, if we need to go back to understand like how many requests came from Fairfax, or if the request failed, what was the reason. So we keep track of each and every audit trail in the database. Once the data set is pulled, we are keeping the result set, and then it goes into the extraction loop. And then once we have it, we get the data for the first result set for top 10 records, and then we convert that to from XML. Since we are pulling the data from the database, we get the data out as an XML, and then we are converting into fire bundle. So the Rhapsody, when we were developing this mapper, the Rhapsody support was very helpful, especially Sam Martin was a Rhapsody support person who helped us in helping with, this was our first fire solution, like I mentioned. So it was very helpful for us. And then we used STU2 at the time. This has been in production for almost 2 to 3 years now. And then once the fire bundle is bundled, we do a bundle, merging multiple fire bundles into one request, right? So because we are including 10 result set in one bundle and then sending out the request. So you can see that in the header, we include that the total number of records, and then what is the next URL they're supposed to call, and then the last one it's going to be. So they have to send 6 requests to get the data that all the result sets. And then like I mentioned, Morbidity Data Exchange was the first fire solution we went live with. After that, in production currently, Natality Data Exchange is where Fairfax is also in production. Cancer registry data in planning stage. Mortality data exchange with Steve development is completed. It is in user testing. Even the responses from the Steve is parsed, and then I think the final level of testing and getting the certification to production is where we are right now. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions, Mel, do you want to share your screen? I can stop.
Sure. So thanks to Tom and Sarah for being willing to jump on and share what they've been working on with everybody. I think that's always really helpful to hear from colleagues about their actual development projects, what's been working, what's gone into production, what's still in development, so that you kind of know what else is out there and know who you might be able to reach out to for ideas or support, etc. So thank you to Sarah and Tom. I definitely have some questions. What do you guys imagine? What does the future hold? Could you imagine what vital records data exchange with FHIR looks like for your jurisdictions in, say, 2 or 3 years from now? What would be like the next stage for you?
I think
Well,
for Virginia, so I think we are in TEFCA too. So I think the immunization query request and electronic case reports will be in production, hopefully as a next phases.
Okay.
That is in kind of like we are still in discussion phase, but I think that's what I think Virginia will be in a few years. Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think it's the future. I've been HL7 member for over 25 years, and I started on HL7 version 1. So it's evolved. It's really got a lot of information that can be packed into the messages, and I think it's the future. Everybody, you got to learn it. It's a little tough, but just dive in and you'll use it because other people are starting to use it too. So
Is the future, yeah. That's from the folks that were at the HL7 meeting in Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago. I think, Tom, that's definitely the message that I heard from them, is that FHIR was the kind of the dominant topic. So do others have questions for Sarah and Tom?
I had a quick question. I put my hand up, so I'll lower it now. And this may be an obvious thing, but just to confirm, when you developed the definition files for the mapper, I'm assuming that you had an XML schema for the XML side coming in and a JSON schema for the JSON going out. Is that right?
yes, the JSON schema, you literally download it from
The FHIR people.
HL7 website.
Gotcha.
These guys were currently using 4.xx. I can't remember the numbers, but 5 is out.
Oh, FHIR version 5. Are they?
FHIR is out there. Yes.
Yeah. Are they using it actively yet? I thought they were still
It's available to download.
Oh, gotcha.
Who's using it? Don't know that yet.
Yeah, and I gotta say that navigating the FHIR website is a learning experience within itself. I gotta say.
Yeah, that's true. And for Virginia, for our schema for the XML, we created, because this is not a GRE, the standard schema. So since we have a customized database, so we created the XML schema.
You did create the XML schema that's coming out.
Yes,
yeah, that makes some sense.
Because it's the data is going from XML schema to FHIR schema.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
One nice thing I can say that in the FHIR, if all the links in the FHIR will take you with whatever you're defining, like the patient, there's a link in there, you just click on it and it takes you to the HL7 site
Oh, cool.
where the patient
Resource.
is and what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, the
It
patient
just
resource
takes you right
definition.
to it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the kind of cool thing about Fire.
Yeah.
So the examples in that Fire HL7 Fire website is very helpful when you have a
Yes.
convert to JSON. However, like XML, you have each and every example for every field that you need to map.
Yes.
And
Gotcha.
then Canary was very helpful when initially developing this solution, even though Steve was not the first to go live. I used Canary to validate the messages and find out the root causes why it is failing and all that. The Canary was the key for me to get this solution working.
Gotcha. Did you use a lot of the different resources that they had out there? I mean, it sounds like you used at least the patient resource and then perhaps a few of the other ones as well.
For each one you have, for our development, we used, and for each and every profile, we have to add the URL, right? So
yes,
I think
like this one is patient, and then if you just you copy that.
Gotcha.
Although it doesn't let me see it because there's things in my way, but
oh, and I take it you're using the US Core IG as well?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you could just drop that link in and it'll bring you right to, okay, this is what the patient's got to look like. And it breaks it all down for you. It's really nice.
Yep.
Really
very
helpful.
Very familiar with navigating that thing. And I have to refresh my memory every time I go back to it.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Very nice.
Any other questions? Sarah and Tom, what was the component of this that kind of took you the longest, and why?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. So understanding the data, because I never worked before with the vital records and mortality data. Understanding so many elements was how the data is in the database. It took me a little bit longer than developing the solution itself.
I'd have to say, go ahead.
But
this helped.
Yeah, but this helped me when I was developing the natality solution. It was really helpful because it didn't take that much, because I already knew how the schema will be in the database, and then only difference was natality, and then I had to follow the IG for the natality. But for the mortality, definitely the actual the data schema took longer for me.
I'd have to agree with Sarah. The longest and toughest part is the learning curve for Fire. How do I import the Fire definition into Rhapsody? It's kind of weird. And, the Rhapsody support was awesome help. I had to build a mapper definition for the IJE inbound because there isn't nothing. So that's manual. It's a flat file, set length, 5,000 characters long. And matching them up is easy in the mapper, but I always have to keep coming back to this HL7 page. Okay, what's my form? How am I supposed to format the name? How am I supposed to format the date? In HL7 2.x, I've been doing it for 20 years, so I know it.
Yeah, I think you guys hit on why this is such a specialized area. It's not just about knowing, you know, integration. It's about knowing, HL7 fire and public health data. It's a very specialized area, and I think I'm glad that we get everybody together at least once a month to have these calls because what we do is weird.
Yes, yes.
All right, other questions for Sarah and Tom? All right, if folks do not have any other questions, we can go ahead and close out a little bit early today. That's all I have. Again, I want to thank our speakers. Thank you to Tom and Sarah. We really appreciate you sharing with the group. I think it was a very useful presentation to see what you guys have been working on. And I think, a lot of your peers are working on similar efforts to try to get up to speed with using Fire and Rhapsody. So thank you for sharing today. If folks have questions after this for Tom and Sarah or for APHL, please reach out. We're happy to address those. And thanks everyone for your time today. I hope to see all of you again in November.
Thank you, ma'am.
you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.